What's going on, guys? In today's episode of we're going to be going over a really helpful map exploit as well as some general tips to be able to fill your atlas out as efficiently as possible. So let's do it. So you've made it to maps. You've made it to the very end of the game. You beat Katava twice, and you're looking at this Atlas device, and if you're anything like me, you're confused as hell. What the fuck do I do? Right? So I'm going to kind of give you guys a guideline of what you should be trying to do here. So when you open your Atlas device, well, first of all, let me back up. When you start, all you're going to do in the beginning is just run maps. So you're going to have your tier 1s, your tier 2s, your tier 3s. Just run maps. Don't think about it. Just complete the maps. Try to get the... you're going to want to make sure that you're at least using an Orb of Alchemy to make it to a magic map so you get the bonus for it. If you want to, I wouldn't suggest doing it early unless you've got a lot of Vow Orbs, but you can corrupt it as well. Not really necessary in the very beginning. Past tier 3, you're going to want an Orb of Alchemy and Vow Orb every single map you do. But yeah, so you're just gonna run your tier 1s, your tier 2s, your tier 3s, and what's gonna happen is at some point you're gonna have a conqueror that's gonna show up, and they're gonna taunt you basically. They're gonna call you an asshole, ask you why you're here, and then they're gonna disappear. And so what's gonna happen is now you have influence of that conqueror in that area. So what you're gonna want to try to aim for is these outward 4 corners: the Haywork Hamlet, the Lexa Ajoris, Lyra Arathane, New Vestir, and Haywork Hamlet. Did I already say that? I don't know if I said that already. But anyways, yeah, so those 4, right? So once you get the influence of the conqueror in the area, what's going to happen is now it's going to turn a different color, and then you can run any 3 maps in that area. And then once you do that, then you're going to talk to Officer Kirek, and then talk to Zana, and that's going to open up the boss area for you. Now, something to note is that you want to make sure, excuse me, you want to make sure that you are running 3 different maps once you have influence in the area. You can't run the same map 3 times. It has to be 3 different maps, but it can be any map. So what I suggest is try to run maps that you haven't done already, just so you get the bonus. But it's up to you, whatever you want to do. Also, too, when you're running your maps, you want to make sure you're also running missions with Zana, because what that's going to do, once you run a mission with her, she's going to show up in your map, and then you're going to get a chance to do another map within that map you're doing. So that's going to allow you to further expand your atlas, essentially doing 2 maps in one, with only using 1 map. So that's really helpful. Also, every time after you run one of her missions, make sure you check her store, because a lot of times she'll refill with maps that maybe you need, or higher tier maps. Actually, before I started filming this video, I picked up, there was 3 red maps that I did a mission of hers before, so I was able to get those 3 red maps, so that was cool. So yeah, so once you do that, and you're going to do that for all the areas, you're going to do it for all 4 areas, and then you're going to get these 4 watchstones. So once you defeat the conqueror, the watchstone is going to appear in whichever area it was in, the watchtower, and then you're going to get a watchstone. Now, what these watchstones do, let me take one out here. So, as you can see right now, with this one watchstone, this is a tier 9, tier 7, tier 7. So, once I take this out, it's going to raise these, or going to lower these down to whatever their regular tier is, right? So the more watchstones you add to the area, look at, the more watchstones you add to the area, the more it's going to raise the tier, right? So once you spawn all your initial conquerors and you get your 4 areas, this is where it gets kind of confusing, and it got really confusing for me. So if you highlight on this left-hand side, it's going to show you how many watchstones you need to spawn a conqueror, right? So for this area, we need 2 to get a blue orb, we need 3 to get the other ones. So the way this works is you're going to want to, so like for Hamlet, right? So we've got the two watchstones. So right now we can only spawn a blue watchstone. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run the highest tier maps that you can run in the area to get the influence of the conqueror. Once you get the influence, it's the same thing. You just run 3 maps and then you get to fight him. But it was a little confusing for me in the beginning because I didn't really know which maps I needed to run. I was putting it in here and I wasted a lot of time. So just make sure once you're going for the next set of conquerors that you're running the highest tier maps that you can. And it's RNG based, so you might have to do a couple of maps before you get them to show up. So don't freak out if you do 3-4 maps and you don't get them to show up. It is a little bit of RNG. You can get bad RNG. But yeah, that's how that works. So as far as this exploit works, if you've been playing for a long time, you probably already know about this. But if you're a newer player, I didn't know about this. I found out about this through another guy's YouTube video that I was watching, and I figured I would pass on the information to you guys. So the way this works is as you walk away from your stash tab or your stash, about this distance away. Click on your stash, and before you get to your stash, press G. Right. So I'll do that again. Over here, click on the stash. Before we get there, press G. And what that's going to do is that's going to overlay your atlas with your stash. Now, this is helpful because what this does is this allows you to have your stash tabs and be able to see them on the atlas and see what you need to run right from your stash without having to put the stuff in your inventory, open your inventory. It lets you do it right here. Now, the only thing is it's not perfect because this really is not the way it was supposed to be used. So if you get a map that's on the far corners, like what is this here? Chateau. So if you let me type in Chateau. I should have a Chateau map. Yeah. So if you're like off the map and you're trying to see Chateau, you're not going to see it. It's not going to show up for you. What you can do is you can right click it and it'll zoom in. Now because our stash is in the way, we can't really see it here, but that's where it's at right now. Usually, if it's not one of the ones on the far edges, so let's say laboratory. If you right-click it, it's going to zoom right in on it and center it on your atlas. So use that to kind of help you fill your map out. You don't need to fill your atlas out completely, but if you're a completionist, something you could do. But that's pretty much it. If you guys like the video, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the little bell so you know when I go live. Also, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you have any other ideas or maybe another thing that I might have not covered in this video, feel free to drop it below. And we'll see you guys when I